Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and in this video, straighten my camera a little there. In this video, I want to talk about a man who's responsible for a lot of the thought in which we should have a society in which the rich rule, in which there is no more room for doing things for the average person, but the rich and the tech bros, they are the ones who deserve the power going forward because only society in their hands will have a chance. Blah, blah, blah. Because, yeah, this is a belief out there. Let's get into this. The man who's behind much of this ideology is Curtis Yarvin. He is well educated, Brown University, University of California, Berkeley. And yeah, the Dark Enlightenment. Let's pop that open here because that's a big part of what he believes in. It's also called the neo-reactionary movement and is an anti-democratic, anti-egalitarian, and reactionary philosophical and political movement. And the term is a reaction to the Age of Enlightenment and an apologia for the popular conception of the Dark Ages. So yeah. This is the school he kind of helped develop. This guy's only in his early 50s. So yeah, he's not that old. But yeah, very much this capitalism, tech must rule, blah, blah, blah. He's also known by the pen name Mencius Modebug. Because you imagine when you first start writing these things, you don't want to be called out right away. At least I know there's a lot of people who wouldn't. He's an American blogger, known along with philosopher Nick Land for founding the anti-egalitarian and anti-democratic philosophical movement known as the Dark Enlightenment or neo-reactionary movement. In his blog, he and on his later Substack page called Gray Mirror, he argues that American democracy is a failed experiment that should be replaced by an accountable monarchy, similar to the governance structure of corporations. And he has been described as a neo-reactionary and neo-monarchist who sees liberalism as creating a matrix-like totalitarian system and who wants to replace American democracy with a sort of techno-monarchy. Now, whenever you see neo, remember, it just means like new reactionary, new monarchist. So yeah. In 2002, Yarvin began work on a personal software project that eventually became the Urbit networked computer platform. And in 2013, he co-founded the company Tlone to oversee the Urbit project. So yeah. He has influenced some prominent Silicon Valley investors and Republican politicians. Political strategist Steve Bannon has read and admired his work. Vice President J.D. Vance has cited Yarvin as an influence. Think about this. This is who they are citing. This is who they like. This is who they are reading. Not to say these are paths we should never go down. No, this is something we want to do. No, this is something we should never want to go down. We had a revolution so we could get away from kingdoms. And it's only going to get worse if we go right back to that stupidity. Anyway. Yeah. Born in 1973 to an educated, liberal, and secular family. Grandparents on his father's side were Jewish American and communist. His father, Herbert, worked for a U.S. government as a diplomat, and the mother was a Protestant from Westchester County in New York. In 1985, he entered Johns Hopkins longitudinal study of mathematically precocious youth. In 1988, Yarvin graduated from Wild Lake High School, a public high school in the planned community of Columbia, Maryland. He attended Brown University from 1988 to 1992, then was a graduate student in a computer science PhD program at the University of California, Berkeley, before dropping out after a year and a half to join a tech company. Like many of your wealthy tech bros, a little bit of college, gone. Yeah. A graduate student in a computer science PhD program. So he was looking to get his PhD, which means he likely only had the master's or potentially even just the bachelor's. But yeah, then a tech company's like, hey, come work for us. In the 90s, he was influenced by the libertarian tech culture of Silicon Valley. That place sounds, the more and more I hear of it, it sounds like a festering wound on the face of America. Yarvin read right-wing and American conservative works. Let me guess, what's the dumb bitch, the fountainhead and all this shit. I can't remember her name, but yeah. A lot of your libertarian Republicans and conservatives cite her. I can't remember her stupid name, but she's stupid. She's not alive. She hasn't been alive for a while, but yeah. The Fountainhead is probably her most famous work that I hear a lot of people having cited. The Libertarian University of Tennessee law professor Glenn Reynolds introduced him to writers like Ludwig von Mises and Murray Rothbard. Rejection of empiricism by Mises and the Austrian school, who favored instead deduction from first principles, influenced Yarvin's mindset. Yarvin's pen name is a combination of the classical name Mencius and a play on Modebug. Develops Urbit, neo-reactionary blogging. Now he's on Substack with other reporters and stuff, so. But yeah, Dark Enlightenment. Believes that real political power in the U.S. is held by something he calls the Cathedral, an informal amalgam of universities and the mainstream press which collude to sway public opinion. According to him, a so-called Brahmin social class, in reference to the Brahmin class in India's caste system and the American Boston Brahmin, dominates American society, preaching progressive values to the masses. The socio-religious analogy originates from Yarvin's opinion that the progressive ideology of the cathedral is delivered to and marginalized by the general populace much in the same way religious authorities and institutions deliver religious dogma to fanatical worshippers. If you believe the fucking mainstream press or progressive, you're a fucking moron, Yarvin. They are nowhere near progressive. But what do I expect from a dumb fucking libertarian? But yeah. He advocates for an American monarch dissolving elite academic institutions and media outlets within the first few months of their reign. You know, if the founding fathers wanted this to be the direction we should go, they wouldn't have wanted us to break away from England. Because we were already under a king, a monarch. Yarvin's so goddamn stupid. And yet, his stupidity's what has been inspiring these people to be like, oh, I thought smart. Why is it the more and more I hear of right-wing ideologies, the more I hate right-wing ideology? See, I want an ideology where people are treated decent. A right to a home, a right to health care that won't put you in the poorhouse. A society that watches out for each other. But these fuckers want submissive slaves. Drawing on computer metaphors, Yarvin contends that society needs a hard reset or booting, not a series of gradual political reforms. Instead of activism, he advocates pacifism, claiming that progressivism would fail without right-wing opposition. According to him, neo-revolution adherents should rather design new architectures of exit than engage in ineffective political activism. He argues for a neo-cameralist philosophy based on Frederick the Great of Prussia's cameralism. That's just dealing with how many houses of legislation. Cameralism, I do believe. Centralized economy for the benefit mainly of the state. And it's just new cameralism. German science of public administration in the 18th and early 19th century. Strong management, it's centralized. Discipline is the most narrow definition concerned the management of the state finances, which, again, your legislative, the Congress in the U.S. deals with finances, power of the purse, so on. And we are often referred to as a bicameral legislation, a legislative system, meaning two houses, two chambers, one being an upper chamber dealing less with on the ground, but more nation as a whole, the Senate, and then the actual House, which is supposed to be owing to the people. Your boss is the American people. Part of our problem is we've allowed corruption to seep into the system. Not this bullshit of, oh, we need a neo-monarchy. No. Yarvin's clearly a goddamn moron, but again, this is the dumb fucker that is apparently inspiring a lot of these right-wing dipshits. Executive encumbered by liberal democratic procedures could rule efficiently, much like a CEO monarch. So, yeah, Chief Executive Officer King. In other words, no Congress, no judge. We just need a single ruler, is what he believes in. And honestly, he can go fuck himself. Because he's stupid as shit, clearly. Yarvin admires Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping for his pragmatic and market-oriented authoritarianism and the city-state of Singapore as an example of successful authoritarian regime. We do not want authoritarianism. That is not a society we should ever seek. You know, the fact that police have become so powerful as they are is honestly, in my opinion, too authoritarian as is. He sees the U.S. as soft on crime, dominated by economic and democratic delusions. No. No, he's a dumbass, clearly. But again, this is the guy that's inspiring a lot of the right wing and business dumbfuckers like Elon Musk. This is one of the big things that's going on with Trump's government and Doge, is this advocation of the acronym RAGE, which means retire all government employees. And you see how they went through cutting a lot of the government people. But you also see how doing that has caused 2 big aircraft crashes in 2 weeks. And it shows how stupid that fucking ideology really is. If Americans want to change their government, he said, they're going to have to get over their dictator phobia. No. You can go and fuck yourself, sir. I absolutely believe in a government ruled by the people. That people have a say. I do not want a fucking king. I do not want a fucking emperor. Much like Jefferson, much like Washington, these are not things I fucking want. I believe, as a citizen in my land, I should have a right to say what goes on with others. I believe in a society where people work toward a greater good. He described that he felt were flaws in the accepted World War II mythology, alluding to the idea that Hitler's invasions were acts of self. See, this shows how goddamn stupid the motherfucker is. Mencius Moldbug. Mencius Dumbfuck, maybe. Stupid ass cocksucker. I've got no sympathy for dumb fucks. I'm so fucking tired of that bullshittery. Yeah. See, I believe people should be treated with respect and as equals upon each other. You can believe your religion. You can follow your own religion. But the moment you cross that line and push it upon others, that's when you're violating rights. Yeah, Yarvin's a goddamn dumb fucking sumbitch. He's got people like Mark Andreessen, Steve Bannon, J.D. Vance singing his praises. No, he's clearly a dumbass motherfucker. And it shows you the problems, the trouble we are in as a nation when these kinds of dumb fucks are trying to put in their ideology. And it holds to the idea that maybe there should be a moment where the American people are willing to fight. I don't advocate violence, but there are times when it is needed. But yeah. But yeah. He's clearly a moron. A stupid fuck guided by dumbassery. Let's dig a little further in here. From The Guardian, we got an article here. Anti-democracy and pro-Trump. The obscure dark enlightenment blogger influencing the next U.S. administration. Key figures in the incoming administration, now in power, follow Curtis Yarvin, who's pushing for an autocratic takeover of the U.S. But as we've just seen, he's a dumbass motherfucker. But he's still inspiring some evil-ass motherfucking people. Curtis Yarvin is hardly a household name in U.S. politics, but the neo-reactionary thinker and far-right blogger is emerging as a serious intellectual influence on key figures in Donald Trump's administration, in particularly in the, if I can speak, in particular over potential threats to U.S. democracy. Yarvin, who considers liberal democracy as a decadent enemy to be dismantled, is intellectually influential on Vice President J.D. Vance and close to several proposed Trump appointees. The aftermath of Trump's election victory has seen actions and rhetoric from Trump and his lieutenants that closely resemble Marvin's public proposals for taking autocratic power in America. Trump's legal moves against critics in the media, Elon Musk's promises to pair government, spending to the bone, and the deployment of the MAGA base against Republican lawmakers who have criticized controversial nominees like Pete Hegseth are among the measures that resemble elements of Yarvin's strategy for displacing liberal democracy in the U.S. One of the venues in which Yarvin has articulated the strategy include a podcast hosted by Michael Anton, a writer and academic whom Trump last week appointed to work as in a senior role under the Secretary of State nominee Marco Rubio. But yeah, again, just showing how far in depth the evil tendrils go into the current administration. From Vox, Trump and Musk's plan for a massive purge of the federal workforce explained. An ambitious move to move fast and break things in government is underway. There's an ideology behind it. Donald Trump and Elon Musk's sweeping effort to purge and reshape the federal government is underway. Federal employees have arrived at a fork in the road, a new administration proclaimed in a Tuesday night announcement. Their offer is that employees can choose to voluntarily resign effective September the 30th, but receive full pay and be exempt from return to office requirements before then, or employees can choose to stay, but they'll be subject to higher expectations and no guarantee of job security. The announcement comes after a week in which Trump's team has instilled fear and confusion into the federal workforce. They fired some employees, including in legally dubious ways, put others on administrative leave, and demanded government employees fess up to any effort to hide DEI programs by changing their names. See, this sounds too much like Nazi Germany. Is this what we voted into office? A new fascist fucking regime. It sounds too much fucking like it to me. And honestly, I think Nazis should have their fucking heads knocked in. I mean, I have no sympathy for fuckers like Hitler, Goebbels, any of those fucks. I think you take a baseball bat and you beat the goddamn shit out of them. Again, to cover my ass, I am not advocating violence. But Nazis are not people. But yeah, Musk and others in what's become known as the tech right have their own grand ambitions to disrupt a federal workforce they view as bloated, incompetent, and ideological unsympathetic to them, and build something better in its place. All I see is dumb fucking cocksuckers who have somehow managed to gain power and are destroying America from the inside. And yeah, they need to go. Period. But yeah. Just wanted kind of to introduce you all to one of these evil people. I like to bring the names of the evil bastards up. Leo Little, who's more or less destroyed what used to be the top of the judicial branch and now is just the supreme clown car. And this bastard, Curtis Yarvin. Yeah. This shit needs to go. What needs to happen is a better world for everybody. Not this neo-monarchist, neo-fascist bullshit they want to fucking goddamn introduce. Cocksucker. Fascists, monarchists, authoritarianists. Not in my America, motherfucker. Not in my fucking America. I think we should have a society that works together to make it better for everyone, not sit there and hurt people for fucking profit. I consider those kinds of fucks worse than any first-degree murderer ever would be. Because they kill far more fucking people. Sun's starting to rise, but yeah. We'll go ahead and end this episode here. As always, educate thyself. Think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll be putting these sources and links in the description box below the video. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. Until then. Later.